All right, hello wine drinking people. Today is Wednesday, the 8th of August. I am fresh back from a short trip to Napa Valley over the weekend helping the Lewises, Randy and Debbie, celebrate their 20th anniversary. God, it's hard to believe it's just over 20 years and those guys walked in the doors at Cafe Max, and I didn't say, I'm not totally blow them off, but, you know, asked them if they had an appointment, and I was just busy setting up, but turned out to be some of my best friends in the wine business, and they make some of the greatest wine in Napa Valley today. Well, they got some stuff from Sonoma as well, and they do it without owning 1 acre of vineyards. Remarkable. Check it out in our Lewis 20th year anniversary review that should be coming out shortly. Tomorrow we've got a great show for you, our 10-year, 1,000 show, special show coming up. And today, you know, I was off for the weekend, so I figured, man, we need another easy wine to sell. California Cabernet Napa Valley, well, since I was just there, and Robert Mondavi Winery, the 2009 vintage. Looks to be another great vintage from Napa Valley. Let me tell you, after talking to the people out in Napa, after tasting through a lot of these 2009s that have come in, I also stopped by to see my good friend Rob Sweeney at Vinecliff, and he says his 2009 private stock, the best private stock he's made since the 2005. So several people touting this vintage rather highly, and Tony Galoni also in the Wine Advocate singing the praises of 2009. Its forward and precocious nature, but still having wonderful structure. And these wines, well, you know, Napa Valley Cabernet is about immediate gratification, but you can keep the best of these wines 20 to 30 years. Even little wines like this Napa Valley Cabernet from Robert Mondavi Winery. You know, hey, I always say if anybody deserves $100 for a bottle of wine in Napa Valley, it's Robert Mondavi. He was the first guy to have this vision that, you know, they could make wine on a world-class scale. They could compete with the French. In 1976 was the first time he was proved correct. Well, not one of his wines won, but hey, the two guys that made the wines that won, Mike Gergich and Warren Winarski, they both worked at Robert Mondavi Winery before starting their own winery. The Robert Mondavi Winery was started in 1966, and in the 70s, they were known as the Test Tube Winery because they were trying all kinds of cool stuff, and Nicholas Catena visited them. We had a tasting with them tonight at Cafe Max. He was inspired by the innovations and the things that were happening at Robert Mondavi Winery, as were a lot of the winemakers of that era. So this is, to me, a winery that if anybody deserves $100 a bottle, it's Robert Mondavi. And, you know, the folks at Constellation Brand have taken over this brand since 2004, kind of a hostile takeover. None of the Mondavis work for the winery anymore, but hey, don't worry. They're still doing fine. Michael and Tim and the rest of the family are set for life because even though, you know, Bob did kind of lose it at the end, not lose it mentally, but or physically, he just lost control of the company. I don't think he was too happy about that, but he couldn't be disappointed about what he created. And he was, like I said, the first guy to believe that Napa Valley could make world-class wine, and he was set out to make the very best wine possible. He spared no expense, and you have to really appreciate Robert Mondavi in that regard, that he cared more about glorifying Napa Valley than he did about making money, but they did pretty good. Like I said, don't feel bad for any of the Mondavis, even though they're no longer in charge of their winery. Constellation Brand has been doing a great job with it, possibly producing some of the best wines in Mondavi's history over the 7 years that they have now been in control. The 8th year this year, 2004. So the Napa Cabernet is still about 30% Tokalan juice. When Mondavi decided he was going to buy his own winery, or start his own winery, he first started in the vineyards and said Tokalan, one of the greatest vineyard sites in Napa Valley. Today, there's several other people that own Tokalan fruit. Andy Beckstoffer, I think, well, maybe just to Andy and Mondavi, but he charges a ton of money for his fruit. A lot of the wines made with Beckstoffer Tokalan are $300, $500 a bottle. Hey, I'm not saying this is all Beckstoffer Tokalan or this is Schrader's, as good as Schrader's Beckstoffer Tokalan, but this is a smoking little wine at $28. 28. No, we have it on sale for the cheapest price in the country, $17.25. That's right, you will not find a better Napa Valley Cabernet. This wine is classic Napa Valley. It has several other varietals in it, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Syrah, Petit Verdot, and a little Malbec. Lovely notes of cedar and fresh earth here, black currant, black cherry fruit, nice complexity on the nose, ripe and forward on the palate. That's a hallmark of this 2009 vintage. Really soft and smooth. Nice structure, though. Has some dark chocolate and cedar notes coming through on the finish. As I mentioned, a classic Napa Cab. You will not find anything better for $17.25. Check it out on today's offer, along with everything else we've got in the store here from Robert Mondavi Winery. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.